What's up, everyone? This is Saiyan91, and I welcome you to the finale of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time we entered our final investigation day and cleared it up, and we finally figured out who is truly behind all this. And let's see if we can get him found guilty of all this nonsense. Let's go. This is the defendant lobby, alright. Well, there's no defendant. Been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma, for that matter? Almost seems like if something's happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth, stop reading my mind. Knowing you already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7's ID number is? Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason for this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt on this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed, not less, I can call for ruling on the defendant. 5 minutes after the trial starts, Lana will be found guilty. She didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. First time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid, today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. I'll see you there, Edgeworth. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Gant has on her, it's now. Let's get this motherfucker! Let's rock. Court is now in session for the trial of Ema Skye. I am so ready. And so is he. Normally this is where the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. Before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Gant? What now? Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? You know, I'm drowning enough as it is in my work. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. More like save your own ass. Jag off. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one small request, and I'll be finished. What then? What's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to the trial. What? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No! Why? You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana, Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it is sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue the trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't can't be happening. Here's it's time for the verdict. Court finds the defendant... Edgeworth? One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. Why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. To whom? Its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Ema Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to I don't care what you think, Skye. Exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Damn, Edgeworth's got serious balls of steel. It's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Ema Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. She still looks depressed. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Miss Skye, occupation? She's a student. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. Hardest to forget about that. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to ask you to recall those events one more time. Edgeworth, please remember this court considers the murder of Detective Goodman. This incident resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then! You gave in fast. Now, please testify what happened about you 2 years ago. Trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. 2 years ago, our first testimony was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. The young marshal rescued me. I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. You passed out. Don't remember much. It's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Goodman's murder? That'll soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, defense may begin its cross-examination. The ever-popular method of pressing everything. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes. He was second in command under Chief Gant. Sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Detective Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they share the same office. That's right. Always sit at my sister's desk. I dreamed about playing that organ. I wanted to play it one day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Promised to take me at dinner after she finished her work. Press again! A man. Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that will lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room. Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. He ran into Skye in Gant's office. There's a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Detective Demon Gant and Prosecutor Marshall. Gant was there too. Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first one to run after Dark. Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? So Marshall jumped on Dark, then lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch black in that room, you shouldn't be able to see anything. Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image in the scene in my brain. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Goodman. Victim. Let's hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes. So it's so scary about the trial. Tell Goodman about what you saw. Yes, but at the time the words just couldn't come out. I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Mr. Wright, you heard enough? I'd like to ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Or has it? Because remember, on the back of this evidence list, there's a picture, a scene, if you will. Pictures drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. Got a very bad feeling about this. But I don't care, I'm going to present it. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you still insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, I didn't get handed such a picture. That may well be. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What's that? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture she drew. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It appears, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list that you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks right here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Yep, he got screwed over again. would have thought the picture would have been drawn on the back of the list? It was handed to Detective Goodman in the questioning room. Wait a minute. This list is torn in half, and that means... Your Honor, are you right, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. And that's just the way I'm drawn. But if the evidence list is torn in half, there must be more of the drawing on the back of Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Something wrong? You have to ask. Sorry, Your Honor. There's something drawn on the back of my list. That is, that thing. The blue badger's head? Really? It's the thing. The thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Apparently, the head of the criminal affairs used this for their blueprint. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list has been updated. Now it's 2. Very well. Witness, can you please testify about the picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Yes. What's wrong with Emma? Seems to be thinking about something when she saw the picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. The eye must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in the instant. I think a flash of lightning could burn such image into your mind. Thanks to that thought, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. It clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Defense me now cross-examine. Just because there's no real contradiction doesn't mean I can't press like a madman. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. First, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the detective team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Gant and Ema Skye. 2 or 3 days later, memory should still be fresh in your mind. Excuse me, witness. Can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? It was just shadows. So at the time you didn't know if it was Marshall who had come to your rescue. No, you couldn't see him clearly. Lightning was so bright, I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. Turn around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. You really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture. This picture shows exactly what I saw in the instant. I'm sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this exact scene. Was it influenced by any other way with your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulate her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. Better watch out or you might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story could have influenced me. Mr. Wright, there's something that's bothering you about this picture. Well... It's strange. She claims exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Actually, is a very good reason for that, because look at the picture itself. Where does Dark look like he's gonna stab Marshall? It looks like he's gonna stab him in the back, or like in the back of the head. Well, that can't be true because of the autopsy report. He was stabbed through the heart and lung. Maybe he was stabbed in the back. Single stab wound, la 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 la. Loss of blood. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured lung. Exactly what she saw, and she didn't really see the moment of the murder. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. I still remember like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction. Contradicts the autopsy report. I'm pretty sure it'd be this, wouldn't it? There's no blade on the knife. Looks kind of blunt, doesn't it? Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a good look at the knife the man is holding. Look closely, the tip is broken. In fact, you don't even seem to look closely at it. Just right, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Tip of the is broken too. If I recall, tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. That was the conclusive evidence. This piece of evidence that proved Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Huh? Could possibly see a problem. It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. The victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not be broken. What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't wind up in there. That's right. But what does that mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably found in the victim's body. The only possible explanation for this memory is mistaken. Jesus, there's a lot of objections. I asked her so many times she was sure that she remembered. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Jesus, not so fast, Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife might be the piece of evidence that was forged. Can't deny the possibility. No. Ah! Sounds like he got stabbed. Order! Are you saying the investigation was really corrupt? Did Your Honor? Allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in the story there is a lie. I'm not lying. Man was really holding a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This cannot been the actual murder weapon. There must be another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There has to be another one. The witness is adamant about the accuracy of what she saw. It can't be explained away by a simple observational error. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then you have some information about this other broken knife. So please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. That's the only way. Take a look at this. This is a real murder weapon. What would it be? Actually, wait a minute. Look on that little... on the trophy. It's the halberd. Is that it? There's no other knife-type weapons in it. Sure as hell couldn't be Edgeworth's. There's no way. That has to be it. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. Picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the picture was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood this award. Must have been really easy to break off the thing, though. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As a reward, he was given this broken shield and a broken knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out his knife. Being prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in a dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Edgeworth? Because the King of Prosecutors trophy was the murder weapon, the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! Oh, snap. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Edgeworth. What is it? Would you show me your evidence list again? His list? This one? That one with the picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. This wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. Time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we add this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled? First the knife mix-up, now the blue badger? Should be interesting. Or like confusing. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked, so I rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man's knife. Then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. How did the detective affairs even design him until this year? That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. The defense may cross-examine. Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lana? What's the meaning of this? Please remain sitting in the defendant's chair. You can't do this. I've already confessed the crime. Can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin cross-examining. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Finally getting somewhere.